Hi, my name is Dudley Burton. I teach in the Environmental Studies Department at Sac State.
And my name is Brook Murphy, and I teach in the Departments of Biology and Environmental Studies at Sac State. Well, urban agriculture is a encompassing word that includes all food production that occurs in urban environments. This can include residential gardens, community gardens, schools, churches, as well as commercial urban farming.
We think urban agriculture has the potential to both provide more and better food for different groups within urban contexts, and it's especially valuable for people on the low end of the economic spectrum who don't have as much access to high quality foods as other people do.
In addition, urban agriculture, many believe, and we certainly agree, that provides for a better community experience. And what that is food is central to survival for human beings. So food is a social endeavor. And by promoting urban agriculture, we're also promoting community.
Urban agriculture tries to be much more sustainable than traditional agricultural systems because it is located close by where people live. It tries to utilize the community and the resources of people who are engaged in the process, and it tries to use the materials that are often thrown away by urban and metropolitan dwellers. Dr. Murphy and I started talking about this idea several years ago, and we used it in some of our other classes to take field trips and show students some things that were happening in the area. Then we had the opportunity to start an actual program when Stork was created a year and a half ago. There had been a request floated by the UEI, which is University Enterprises on campus, for an alternative for processing food waste. And they were looking for strategies to do that, and as we thought about it, it seemed that what we were talking about with regard to waste recycling and waste upgrading could be utilized to address that problem.
So collectively, what we've done is we have developed what we call a multi-trophic sustainable system, which relies on natural organisms and natural processes to do work for us. And it is structured by taking bio-waste and doing a bioconversion of these wastes into protein in the form of annelid worms and other insects. Those in turn provide a high quality feed to feed fish in our aquaponics systems, which in turn grows the plants. Plants are harvested and sold to on-campus eateries, and any waste from that is put back into the system to be recycled again. And collectively it forms a closed loop sustainable system. Everything is produced on campus, consumed on campus, and recycled on campus. And this was really the genesis of our efforts and interest in urban agriculture and of course also in sustainable production.
Pearson, and I am an environmental studies student with Sacramento State College campus, and I'm going to be talking to you today about composting, vermicompost, and aquaponics that's located here on campus. We are processing all the food waste from the dining commons, Epicure Catering on campus, and Java City, the coffee shops, from 2 locations. We process up to 400 pounds of food waste per week. And this is basically where it starts. We basically load up all of the food waste here, where it starts the process of decomposition and breaking it down into smaller pieces, where it can then be moved over to our vermicompost or hot composting, depending on what content is actually in the compost. Basically, our compost that has just come from the hot composter is piled on top of basically the rest of the compost that we have placed in this bin. The process here is we add nitrogen and carbon here. So nitrogen is like the food waste that we've seen with the leafy greens. The carbon is basically paper. So we utilize a lot of the campus waste in the form of shredded paper. And then the nursery is just a very large system where red wigglers just go crazy in here. Again, basically the same idea. You load compost, you allow the worms to work on it, and then you harvest from here to either reseed into the flow-through system or to just feed to the fish that we're going to talk about a little bit later. So as we move into our aquaponics area, we have something where we make something called the compost tea, and that's basically we utilize these bags. We take the vermicompost and basically percolate it in fish water that we harvest. And the benefit of utilizing the compost tea is that it's a highly probiotic, basically liquid, where we use to spray over the top of the plants. It has probiotic properties, it provides more nutrients to the plant, and it also has something called chitinase, which is kind of a naturally occurring pesticide. This is basically where we have a seed bed where this is constantly being saturated with nutrient-rich water derived from the aquaponics system, and we place seeds within here to have them start. Okay, so this is basically our aquaponics system. We have two setups where we have a ebb and flow media bed as well as a deep channel system. Essentially what's happening here is we're utilizing different trophic levels to produce these leafy greens that you see as well as some herbs. Essentially what aquaponics is you're utilizing the waste produced by fish, which is ammonia. It's taken from the tank system and flowed into this media bed or into this deep channel where there's two different nitrogen fixing bacteria that convert the ammonia into a nitrite and then a nitrate. What the plants like is a nitrate. Nitrite and ammonia are toxic to plants and animals, so when it's converted, you're essentially filtering the water for the fish. These plants are growing in water completely, and they're located in net pots within this system, and their roots dangle into the water. So as the system's flowing from our fish tank back there, this is what we call a hybrid system, because we've actually tied a growing media bed to this deep channel. So basically what's happening is the water is flowing into the media bed and then draining into the deep channel through gravity, and then flowing to the end of the bed, and then also through gravity being fed back to another sump area where the water is then pumped back into the fish tank, basically. And all of this particular system you see here runs on very little power. The only power you need is to run an aeration and the pump to pump the water back into the system. Everything else is gravity fed. You have a production system, a food production system, where you're growing a protein source and you're growing produce, fruits and vegetable source, where these particular systems are scalable. You have a low footprint. You can stack these and go up. You can put them on rooftops. You can make this system with just pennies, and you can produce fish, you can produce vegetables, fresh, healthy vegetables that, if you're looking at, urban areas where there are food deserts, these systems can go on empty lots.
The local regulatory system really is built for non-agriculture. That is, cities have specialized in that cities are for urban living and agriculture is meant for rural areas. And so all of the ordinances and regulations has been built around that, and changing that is one of the largest barriers. Now, Sacramento, among other communities, has recently adjusted their ordinances and zoning laws to directly accommodate urban agriculture.
The fact that we recognize through these changes in regulation that commercial food production in urban context is valuable and a valid use of land and other resources is a significant change in urban thinking in the United States. This has been going on in other countries for a long time, but it was not much supported in the United States until there was this great interest in new foods and high quality foods and fresh foods, etc.
The other big barrier to urban agriculture is developing a local distribution system for small farms. And right now, most cities are built for large commercial corporate farms where foods are brought in bulk into the city and distributed. So one of the things our program is doing to promote local urban farming, that is the commercial aspect of community agriculture, is the development of an urban farming directory. And our students, as pick up as projects, is to go around and identify these small farmers, which quite frankly isn't always that easy, and get them into a single database. And this directory, along with an interactive map showing the locations and the types of crops that they grow and how they distribute and sell their crops, allows us to do two things. One is to develop a consensus of exactly how many people are engaged in urban farming. And the second is to help connect up farmers with potential buyers.
And I'm an environmental studies student at Sac State University. We are working on an urban agriculture directory, and we are trying to collect contact information for local growers within the greater Sacramento area, and we want to connect them with local buyers. You guys want to sign up, so this gets posted on our department's website, and we're trying to put together an interactive map and also like a list of like emails and contacts for all the farmers in the area. Okay. Is this something you guys would be interested in signing up for? Yeah. So it just... There's been a few barriers in this process of trying to collect people for this directory. A few of them are, a lot of the farmers don't speak English very well, so oftentimes they're really reluctant to release their contact information to us, or they don't fully understand what it is we're trying to do. It's important for small farmers to be connected with buyers because they don't produce as much as larger industrial farms, and by providing them with this connection, they're ensured income and they can continue their business and grow further.
One of the ways that we've developed our community connection for urban agriculture is through our work with the Sacramento Food Bank and with local schools. Our first system was built at the garden that Sacramento Food Bank has as its teaching facility. And so we've worked very closely with the staff at Sacramento Food Bank all the time that we've had the program going.
My name is Kate Wilkins. I'm the garden coordinator at Sacramento Food Bank and Family Services. The purpose of the demonstration garden is to teach people self-sufficiency skills to gain them some economic independence. So my goal really here is to teach people to enjoy and to really identify healthy food and how to grow it for themselves so that they can save a lot of money in terms of going to the grocery store. They can save that money to spend on other important things like rent or utilities. I also emphasize a lot of healthy food. So along with growing it themselves, I want people to eat a lot healthier. There's quite a few different classes taught in our demonstration garden. A lot of them are kind of gardening related, so we have an introduction to gardening series, do a lot of composting, how to seed different seasonal vegetables. We also do have kind of more fun classes like aquaponics, canning, how to make homemade cheese, and then we do have a lot of different cooking classes, like how to prepare easy, seasonal, and inexpensive meals. Sac State is helping me in the garden by really expanding my capacity to do things. So providing great students who serve as interns and volunteers, as well as coming up with great new project ideas, like we're revamping our entire aquaponics system, which will be a great showpiece to show all my different clients all about aquaponics.
My name is Anna. I am an environmental studies student at Sac State, and I am working at this demonstration garden. I am volunteering to help make a resource guide for how community members can create a community garden in their area. Gardening is a very important skill to teach because it teaches many skills. It teaches responsibility. It teaches that you can make something with your own hands that can become something truly beautiful that can help you. You can eat healthy food and it'll help you become a more well-rounded person. One of my favorite things working at the Sac Food Bank really is just learning how to create your own garden, from seedlings and how to harvest, and there are a lot of things that I didn't know how to do before I started working here, and I think it's really amazing that not only can you learn how to grow your own garden with all of these different vegetables, but you can also learn how to use those vegetables in your own kitchen, and you can learn what you like and what you don't like, and it's a very helpful tool, the fact that they pair those together, gardening and cooking.
So our urban agriculture program, one key component is working with the communities on an educational basis. As Dr. Burton said earlier, people cannot resist fish. We capture their undivided interest, their curiosity, and we've used this as a tool for encouraging and motivating students to be interested both not only in sustainable agriculture but also in the science that supports particularly our aquaponics system. So we have been working with educators to help develop curriculum, particularly around the new Common Core, and to use both aquaponics specifically and food science and food production in general as a mechanism for educating students in sustainability, life sciences, the physics, hard sciences, as well as various other social aspects of it.
We have been working with Luther Burbank High School as a school in a rather lower income area of the city to test these ideas about teaching and learning, but also to provide this model for urban food production that we hope can be taken up by some students and later adults as part of an economic development activity.
My name is Aaron McClatchy. I am a teacher here at Luther Burbank High School. During the day I teach students, I manage a caseload for students with moderate to severe autism. After school I teach a gardening and urban agriculture class. So that's the main crux of what I do. The program that I'm trying to run is uses a garden and greenhouse and aquaponics and urban agriculture to teach vocational and life skills to as many students as I can. Of course, my primary responsibility is to work for students with moderate to severe disabilities and manage the caseload for students with autism. But the garden really provides a unique set of opportunities for students to learn. Yeah, so one of the coolest things that resources that we have here in our program is this greenhouse. So this greenhouse is about 1,000 square feet, maybe I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's about 1,000 square feet, and When it first came in, it was just dry and hot because the systems were no longer working or not being used, and it hadn't been used in some time, and it was starting to be used as kind of a storage space, and which was a shame because here we have really kind of a really expensive, nice system. Luckily, I got some good support from district electricians and plumbers, and we were able to get everything back in order. And then we would use it to start a few plants here and there, but basically we were using like one table at a time. Then Sacramento State Environmental Studies Department, especially those involved with the stork, came around and checked out the space and said, you know, you guys need an aquaponics system. And I didn't even know what that was. So I said, yes, we do need an aquaponics system. If you guys are willing to help us out, you have something to give us, we're willing to receive it and be grateful and promote all the great things that Sac State is doing. Now it's full of lots of different kinds of plants. We have pineapple sage and boysenberry, and we have an actual pineapple. One of my students was a freshman. He said, I think we can grow a pineapple in the greenhouse. And I said, sure, you figure out how to do it, and then we'll do it. And he did. He bought a pineapple, brought it in, and cut the top off. We ate the pineapple. We left the top, and we planted it in the dirt. And now he's a junior, and we have a pineapple that's getting ready to eat. And supposedly it'll be ready next year at some point. All these plants that you see here are for sale in our plant sale. If we are able to sell these plants in our plant sale, we should make over $3,000. If we make over $3,000, we should be able to take some knowledge given to us by Soil-Borne Farms and Sacramento State Environmental Studies students, and have produce available year-round for use in the classroom and for sale in our farm stand. And if we can do that, we can teach hands-on so many different lessons to students who really benefit from visual hands-on learning. Last year in March, Sacramento State students apparently showed up with their professor, hearing that we had a garden program and that we had facilities that were being underused, and they wanted to check it out. And ironically, even though we had been doing a lot of cool stuff already at the time, somebody, I don't know who, but somebody said, no, we don't really have that here, and they almost left. But then somebody else caught them and said, no, we do have that here, and you need to sit down and talk with us. But somehow, I didn't get included on this conversation for another like 2 weeks. I heard about it through the grapevine, and once I heard about that Sac State students were here wanting to offer us something, I was like saying, you had to have gotten their names. We need to know who these people are. We've got to get involved, and because high school linking up with a college program to improve a garden is, of course, we want to do that. You know, like we have a garden program, we need help, and we want our students to go to college and learn about what all these different opportunities that are out there for them. So what better way to do it with college students who are chasing those opportunities already.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Van Dyke. I'm a senior biology student at Sacramento State University. I'm taking their contemporary environmental issues class with Dr. Brook Murphy. I'm here at Luther Burbank High School building them a floating raft aquaponics system for their greenhouse so that kids can come through and learn about aquaponics and see how fresh food is grown. I really feel that the aim of this project was to be able to provide something to the community. There are a lot of communities that don't have a lot of access to fresh fruits and vegetables, so I really feel like it was important for me to be able to provide something to the community while at the same time getting credit for a course. I really feel like there was nothing more important I could do with my time here than to build an aquaponics system and be able to share what I've learned in the process with others. What we have here is we have this bed, this grow bed that was already built and ready for us here. I'm not sure what it was used for prior, but we thought we'd repurpose it. So what we have are some 2x4s underneath for support and some chicken wire. What we did was we got a piece of 2x4 and cut it to the size dimensions of the inside of the grow bed to provide more support. We attached these plates with some screws to provide even more support because there's going to be a lot of water sitting in this grow bed. So what we did next was we bought some styrofoam that would be used for insulation like in home walls, and we cut them to fit the dimensions inside of the grow bed. And we're going to put our seedlings in here. I have something called rock wool, which is really helpful for starting seedlings out at. So you start the seedlings in the rock wool for about a week, they germinate, and then you put them inside the hydroton in the baskets, and then they start to grow. So water will come through here, filter through this filtering system. It's pumped out through this pump, and then it's going to flow up here into our sump tank. And then in the sump tank, we're going to have a pipe that's going to stick straight up with a bucket on top so that all the solids flow to the bottom of the tank. And then the outlet valve is going to be at the top here so that all the fresh, clean water is going to flow out of the top. So all the solids will be at the bottom and all the clean water will be at the top. So we're going to have the water flow through here, and I'm creating a finer filter for the system. I'm going to use cheesecloth and some stuff used in quilting called batting. Sew that together and create a filter. So that it flows through here, the filter catches the water, and the clean water flows directly from the this bucket filter into the grow bed. Working here at Luther Burbank, I learned a lot about different cultures and diversity. There are a lot of different cultures here, and I was able to work here and there with different cultures. Also, just learning how to work in a greenhouse and understanding what plants really need to live, and building an aquaponics system was the biggest learning curve for me, as I've never built anything before. So it was just really great to learn that. And being able to help the community. I know that at Luther Burbank there's obviously a big influence from agriculture here. They're having a big plant sale, they have a huge greenhouse, they already have a media bed aquaponics system. So I know that a lot of students get the opportunity to come here and learn about fresh fruits and vegetables, which they may not have had access to in the past. Also, another rewarding thing for me is just learning how to build an aquaponics system, because I really would like to be able to incorporate sustainable food into my life in the future.
Our current perspective is that we have a basic model now going in Stork, and we now want to use that model to expand the ideas and applications of these principles both on the campus and in the community. On the campus, interestingly enough, we're working with the facilities people to talk about ways to recycle all of the bio waste that's generated on campus.
Yeah, so we've developed the basic proof of concept of the system, and we have an operating demonstration of that. And as Dr. Burton is saying, now we are reaching out to expand and apply the system in different contexts, and one of them is Sac State itself. This is a small city, effectively. And so the concept is the sustainability people on campus want to go to a zero waste campus, and one aspect of that is converting all of the bio waste and converting that into higher value products such as protein feeds to feed our livestock, fish, as well as plants, as well as demonstrating that we can develop sustainable closed-loop systems that can help mitigate many of the problems facing urban centers.
In the community, we are working with other school systems to implement aquaponics programs and teaching in their academic work. We're linked with the community farm to fork movement, and we're working with the city of Sacramento on a site where we will make aquaponics and other food production and distribution issues an important part of a community liaison over time. We're quite positive about the sorts of things that are happening as a result of not only our efforts, but lots of other people's efforts in terms of rethinking basic questions about food. Clearly, food has become a serious issue for conversation amongst nutritionists and health professionals, as well as folks interested in social welfare and education. So we want to participate in those kinds of developments.
I think we're at a time of great optimism at this time around these issues of food, and I envision and expect to see a very vibrant local urban farming economy starting to develop, along with events like Farm to Fork that promote these. And there's opportunities for sustainable economic development. There's opportunities for uniting our community around such important fundamental things as food and the quality of food and the access of food and the security that it provides. And the excitement, there's just a tremendous community interest in these kinds of subjects right now. And so for us, being involved in this program, the various community groups, educational aspects of this, it gives very much optimism for the possibilities for not only the Sacramento metropolitan area, but many others across the United States.